New this morning, this week marks 30 years since an unprecedented flood hit central Iowa. To this day, it is still regarded as one of the most significant natural disasters our region has ever experienced. I reflect on our community's resilience alongside Chief Photojournalist Don Schmith and share what changes were made to prevent a worst-case scenario from happening again.
It was raining every day, and not just a little bit of rain, but monsoons worth of rain. And they were watching the dams, they were watching the river, and they just knew that it was not going to hold and that we were going to be flooded.
The memories are still so clear for Des Moines native Cynthia Martin as she reflects on the days leading up to one of the biggest disasters in city history while standing feet away from the building where she worked.
Anytime I hear thunder now, anytime there's a lot of rain, I start thinking, well, I wonder if we're going to get back to that problem again.
The problem she still wonders about is the floods of '93, when weeks of record rainfall and river rises damaged homes and businesses throughout central Iowa.
It's just nothing. I think everything that's left in there is ruined. How can I rebuild, But how can I go anyplace?
I hope everybody comes back. I hate to see this happen to these people. This is sad. Some of these, I'm lucky. If I lose everything, I can go on. Some of these people, 70, 80 years old, they don't have time. All we can do now is wait for the water to go down and see what we have left to work with.
It was just a mess, the kind of mess you can't imagine until you've lived through it.
There are countless stories from that unforgettable summer. Richard Norton remembers the last-minute efforts to save books from the public library's old downtown building. 30 years later, he's still working there.
So they took all the books out of the lower level of the library, handed them up a stairwell. I was not there for that. Took people off the street, this is late Saturday night, and handed them up.
But no story is more well-known than what happened to the city's water.
We'd experienced flooding before, but the flooding in 1993 was 7 feet higher than the historic high crest on the Raccoon River, 2 feet higher than our levee system at that time.
The river reached 26 feet early on July 11th. Suddenly, an already catastrophic situation got worse.
It inundated the plant, then the water was trapped inside the levee. It was a disaster. We were completely down. All of central Iowa, all of our customers were without water for 7 days.
And we genuinely didn't know if we wouldn't have water for a week, a month, or till Christmas.
We were literally in here with boats floating around trying to see what had survived or what hadn't, how significant the damage was.
2 weeks passed before Des Moines residents could use the water for cleaning and personal care. It took even longer before it was safe to drink, as historian Leo Landis recalls.
The alcohol distributors were doing bottled water for central Iowans. You can see the Anheuser-Busch cans, drink by 10/15/93 on there.
They say it takes a village to recover from a disaster, but this one required more, like aid from the Iowa National Guard and attention from America's Commander-in-Chief.
Her living room and the kitchen, there's 5 feet of water in it. She's lost everything.
We're so sorry.
You hang in there. You don't want to over-glamorize things, but it was a time where, Iowans act generally in their best behavior and try to help each other out.
That's one thing about a flood or some natural disaster, everybody's on the same side.
Future flooding events can and frankly will happen again, but Des Moines Waterworks says they've made enough infrastructure changes in the last 30 years to ensure something like '93 never happens again. Des Moines Waterworks reevaluated their facility and operations for years after the flooding, eventually raising the levee and adding 2 more treatment plants in the region.
We have like a 40-page flood manual that we go through step by step by step by step.
Waterworks has been tested in the last 30 years with other major floods, but nothing quite like '93. No matter what Mother Nature brings in the future, they say it won't catch them off guard.
If there were a flood of the same magnitude, we're ready.
In covering this, I asked Leo Landis, curator of the State Historical Society, if there was criticism directed towards Waterworks or towards the city at that time. He said there was a little bit, but surprisingly wasn't as much as you might think.